Next question. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Sultana from India. Sir, is it permissible for women to travel without a mahram? A similar question is asked by Fatima Zubair from Toronto, Canada. Is it allowed for women to travel and perform Hajj without a mahram, but with a large group of women who have their mahrams? Regarding is it permissible for a woman to travel without a mahram, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, point number 2, Hadith number 1086, that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that let not a woman travel for more than 3 days without her mahram. A similar hadith is mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 2, Hadith number 1088, where a beloved Prophet ﷺ said that let not a woman who believes in Allah and the last day travel for 1 day and night without a mahram. It's further mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, Hadith number 1862, that the beloved Prophet ﷺ said that let not a woman travel without a mahram, and if a man enters a woman, he should not enter without the presence of her mahram. So a man gets up and asks the Prophet, I have intentions to join the jihad, the battle and the army, but my wife wants to go for Hajj. So the Prophet said, go with your wife for Hajj. There are various other Sahih Hadith, including in Sahih Muslim. Our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, said in Sahih Muslim, volume number 3, Hadith number 3266, that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that let not a woman travel for a night's journey without a mahram. It's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, volume number 3, Hadith number 3267, that let not a woman travel for a day's journey without a mahram. So based on all these hadiths, we come to know that for traveling, a mahram is required. When the question is asked that sometimes the Prophet said, let not the women travel for more than 3 days without a mahram, sometimes for not more than 1 day, sometimes for not more than 1 night, the muhaddithin, they say, the reason is depending upon what question is asked to the Prophet. If someone comes and asks the Prophet, can a woman travel on a journey which is more than 3 days without a mahram? So the Prophet replied, let not a woman travel for a journey more than 3 days without a mahram. If someone comes and asks that can a woman travel for a journey of 1 day without a mahram, the Prophet replied, let not a woman who believes in Allah and the last day travel for 1 day and night without a mahram. So these differences are not things which should confuse a person. It means the depending upon what question was asked to the Prophet, in that context he replied. But according to Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, Hadith number 1862, the Prophet clearly mentions that let not a woman travel without a mahram. Here there is no time specified. And let not a man enter a woman without the presence of her mahram. Based on this, there are two groups of scholars. One group of scholars says that since the hadith is very clear cut, that a woman cannot travel for a journey without a mahram, traveling without a mahram is prohibited for a woman. She has to have a mahram as long as it's a journey. The journey that is for a woman to have a mahram is not the journey which is same as when a person need not fast when he's traveling, or a person may shorten his prayer while traveling, because for traveling, in case of fasting or in case of shortening your prayers for salah, the scholars are very clear cut that the distance is mentioned. It's approximately 80 kilometers. The hadith says 16 farasa, which is about 48 miles, which is about 78 kilometers. Some scholars say 80 kilometers, some say 83 kilometers, some say 87 kilometers. Approximately, for safely, you can say that it is more than 87 or 90 kilometers. So this is the distance which is fixed. And this distance, according to scholars, some scholars say it should start from when the limit of the city ends. Some say from where you live. It differs. So as far as the distance is concerned, for shortening your prayers while traveling, or where you excused from fasting, this traveling distance is fixed. But as far as traveling in case of a woman is concerned, one group of scholars is very clear cut that irrespective whether it's a short distance or a long distance, as long as it is considered to be traveling, then having a mahram is compulsory. The same group of scholars who believe that having a mahram is a must, irrespective of the length of the journey, as long as it's a journey, they also say that those women who do not have a mahram, for them the Hajj is not fard, and they need not perform Hajj. But there's another group of scholars, those scholars who say that Hajj need not be done if there's no mahram, are the scholars, the fuqahas of the Hanbali school of thought and the Hanafi school of thought. These two scholars say that having a mahram is compulsory for a woman to perform Hajj. If she does not have a mahram, then Hajj is not compulsory on her, and she need not travel without a mahram. Whereas the other group of scholars, mainly the Shafi'i and the Malikis, they say that if a woman does not have a mahram, she can travel with a large group of women who have their mahram. And there are fatwas given by various Shafi scholars and fuqahas and Maliki scholars and fuqahas who say that a woman can perform Hajj without mahram if she doesn't have, or if it's difficult, but she should see to it that she travels with a large group of women who have their mahram. The same group of scholars also say that the hadith which the Prophet has prescribed, where a woman should have a mahram where she's traveling for more than 3 days or more than 1 day, is not applicable today. And this group of scholars, they quote the hadith for giving the reasons why a woman can do Hajj without a mahram, is they say that Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, who was the wife of the Prophet, after the Prophet died, she did perform Hajj along with the group. At the time of the Caliphate of Hazrat Umar, she performed Hajj along with Hazrat Usman. And they also give the example of Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, who performed Hajj with a large group of people who had women who didn't have their mahram. So based on this, the second group of scholars say that yes, the woman can perform Hajj without a mahram as long as it's a large group, it's permissible. The same group of scholars also say that generally for traveling, the hadith which says that a woman cannot travel if the journey is more than 1 day or more than 3 days, or for traveling a mahram is required for a woman, they say that this is not applicable today, and they quote the hadith in which the Prophet said there will be a time where a woman will travel from Hira to the Kaaba and do circumambulation on the Kaaba, and she will fear no one except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So based on this hadith, it tells us of a time will come later on where a woman will freely travel without any fear except the fear of Allah. So based on this, the scholars, the second group of scholars, they say that mahram is preferable but not a fard, and if she doesn't have a mahram, as long as she is secured and if the surroundings she is traveling in is safe, then she can travel without a mahram. This is the view of the second group of scholars, that it is preferable but not a fard, and if the situation is safe quoting the hadith where a woman will travel from Hira to Makkah and circumambulate around the Kaaba. So they say that a time will come and now the time is safe. Well, the first group of scholars disagree, saying that it's not safe and you cannot travel without a mahram, even if it's a short journey. This question was asked to Sheikh Abdullah ibn Jibreel, that for a necessity, if a woman has to travel or if she has to travel outside the country in a plane, is it permissible? So Sheikh Abdullah ibn Jibreel said that if it's a necessity and if it's a requirement, as long as the mahram leaves her at the airport and the mahram cannot accompany her in the plane, as long as one of the mahram leaves at the airport and she catches the flight, she travels for maybe 8 hours, 10 hours, no problem. And when she reaches her destination at the airport, her other mahram is there to pick her up. Maybe the father, maybe the brother, or the husband leaves her and brother or father picks her up. It is accepted. And I personally agree with the ruling and the fatwa of Sheikh Abdullah ibn Jibreel that in necessity this is permissible. Though there are some strict scholars who say that even in necessity a woman cannot travel alone, even in the plane, because there are chances that something may happen even at the airport. If that's the case, no place is 100% secured. Anything can happen anyway. Even if you have a mahram, today there are many hundreds of Western countries which I would not want to travel with my wife at night because it's dangerous. There are many places in UK, in London, in New York, where I know it's not possible to travel with a lady at night. It's very dangerous, it's very risky. And I remember that my mother and my elder brother, many years ago, they had traveled to UK. And in the afternoon, in Brixton, in London, in daylight, when they were walking on the street together, my mother and my brother, one black person, a huge guy, he comes and snatches the handbag of my mother and he runs away. Sorry, he doesn't run away, he walks away. Imagine, he walks, he doesn't even run, and no one said anything. So some places in UK, in USA, in many of the Western countries are so dangerous that even if someone snatches your bag or runs away with it, you will not even follow because you are afraid that your life will be in danger. So this is advice given by a prophet. It's a ruling in the Sharia. So in this case, but natural, a mahram should be there. But that doesn't mean that if the mahram is there, you're totally secured. So what you do, you take precaution. So similarly, I do agree. There can be chances at the airport also, the chances something may happen, but it's a very negligible chance. The airport in most parts of the world are secured, they are safe. There can be certain occasions, once in a blue moon, where there can be a problem, but you don't find the problem because it's high security. And no one is a fool to risk because he'll be caught. You will never find anyone at the airport snatching a bag of a lady because he'll be caught. It's a secured place. So I do agree with the fatwa of Sheikh Abdullah ibn Jibreel that in necessity, if the mahram cannot travel, one mahram can leave her at the airport and she travels alone, the other mahram on the other side picks her up. So generally, there are two groups of scholars who are divided whether mahram is a must or not. I personally feel that those group of scholars who say that mahram is required is on the more correct opinion, because yet the world is not there safe, and our Prophet clearly mentions that in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, hadith number 1862, that a woman should not travel without a mahram.